What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Next Drop Off. I'm Samuel Francis, host and founder of The Next Drop Off podcast, and currently serving as the Assistant Youth Publishing Director for Georgia Cumberland Conference. On this channel, I help canvassers and leaders get to the next level and become more effective missionaries for Jesus. Now, if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. This is the first in an ongoing series of videos I'm going to be making for our canvassing leaders called Lion Mode Leadership, how to lead like a lion and get results. Today's focus is time management for canvassing leaders. The principles that I go over typically apply to the summer program, but you can apply these to the winter program, spring break program, blitz programs, or any canvassing program, because the principles you can apply across the board. The goal of the video is to help you manage your time better. That's the goal. That being said, let's jump right in. You've probably heard the expression, time is money. Have you ever wondered who said that? That actually comes from the guy that's on the face of the $100 bill. That's right. Benjamin Franklin came up with the saying, time is money. And he couldn't be more right, because time is money. You could apply that to your regular work. You can apply that to just about anything in life. When you waste time, you waste money. When you economize time, you actually make money. And that is a biblical principle. We're going to see that biblical principle played out in this video, because we're going to build a biblical foundation for time management. And then we're going to dive deep into the more specific details on how you can manage your time wisely in the canvassing program. Here we go. Lion Mode Leadership. This video is going to be crucial for your success as a canvassing leader. You don't want to be average. You don't want to be mediocre. You want to be great. You want to be excellent. All right. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. My goal, my aspiration is to help you become a lion mode leader. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Let's jump right into it. Like I said, we're going to start with the biblical foundation. And so let's see what the Bible has to say about lion mode leadership and time management. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 to 4 says, "For everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance." In Ecclesiastes, the chapter goes on, and he goes on with this concept of there's a time for everything, right? I hope you can see that concept very clearly here. There's a time for everything. And in your canvassing program, you've got to be able to know it's time for this, it's time for that, because if you don't, you run the risk of an unsuccessful program, right? There it is from the New Living Translation. Here we go. Let's keep on going. Let's keep building this foundation. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 5. And I really like this verse, so I found it in different versions. The Message Bible says it this way: careful planning puts you ahead in the long run. Hurry and scurry puts you further behind. I really like this version because it says hurry and scurry. And that's exactly how the summer can be sometimes. You know, it's go, 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 run here, run there, got to do the bank run. You got to make sure that the oil change is done on the van. You got to make sure there's gas in the van, got to get groceries, got to drop off this student, got to drop off that student. Oh, this one's ready for pickup. Oh, that one needs books. It can seem so crazy if you're not on top of time. And this was a struggle for me when I began my canvassing journey. So I started canvassing, 2008, right? So maybe a little over 16 years ago, started canvassing. I didn't start leading till 2010, right? It was a winter program. Shout out to Renita. Was a great mentor of mine in the canvassing work. I call her my canvassing mama. Shout out to you. I wouldn't be here without you, that's for sure. Right? She kind of helped me, definitely helped me get into leadership and learning the ropes of canvassing leading. It's not easy. There's so many things you're juggling. And man, if time is not on your side, this verse applies so well. Hurry and scurry puts you further behind. It puts you further behind in reaching your goals. It puts you further behind in a sense of fulfillment. It can lead to anxiety, right? When it's like, I've got so much to do and not enough time. The truth is, everybody has the same amount of time, right? It's just learning how to manage it well. Careful planning. That's key. Puts you ahead in the long run. That's the message. Check it out in the Voice Bible. It says, a well thought out plan will work to your advantage, but hasty actions will cost you dearly. Careful planning. Before the summer starts, this is the time when you want to start thinking about what kind of schedule you're going to implement. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. You want to talk about, you want to be planning the activities, planning your worships. These are the things that can save you time. Planning the menu. Okay? Again, we're going to go into more detail a little bit later, but we're building a biblical foundation. Time management is of God. And anything connected with God is connected with success, okay? A well thought out plan. You got to be thinking about these things. I think there's one more version here. From the New International Version, it says this. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. The plans of the diligent lead to profit. You want a profitable program. You will be surprised that there are entire conferences, and I dare say unions, that don't have canvassing programs because they were poorly managed. They were poorly managed. And because their programs didn't turn a profit, they were in the red, not in the black. The conference was just like, you know what? This is too costly of an endeavor. We're just not going to do canvassing. That's a shame. There should be canvassing in every conference, right? Unfortunately, it's not that way. And my goal, I want to keep canvassing alive. You know what I'm saying? I want canvassing to grow. And it starts with time management, how you manage your program. The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. Something my dad would always say was haste makes waste. Something he would always tell me. Haste makes waste. Now, this is coming from one of our canvassing books, The Parables, also known as Christ's Object Lessons. Listen to this statement from the Pen of Inspiration. It is the duty of every Christian, and I would substitute that with every canvassing leader. It is the duty of every canvassing leader to acquire habits of order, thoroughness, and dispatch. He or she needs to exercise their mind in planning how to use time so as to secure what? The best results. Come on now. By tact and method, some will accomplish as much in 5 hours as others do in 10. Wow. Talk about productivity. Talk about efficiency. Incredible. Some will accomplish as much in 5 hours as others do in 10? Oh, amazing. Some who are engaged in domestic labor, and you can substitute that for any kind of labor, any kind of work. Some who are engaged in domestic labor are always at work, not because they have so much to do, but because they do not plan so as to save time. Decide how long a time is required for a given task, and then bend every effort toward accomplishing the work in the given time. Amazing. These principles are going to help you in your canvassing program. Decide how long it's going to take to shop for the groceries. Decide how long it's going to take for the program to be, for your team to be at the laundromat. Decide how long it's going to take for you to get to territory, for you to get back from territory. Decide how long it's going to take to pick up your students for lunch, to pick them up to go back home. Time affects everything in canvassing. And when you have a well-managed time program, you're going to see profit. You are going to have a profitable program. You're going to have a successful program. But when your time is slipping out on the loose ends, just sloppy, just never on time, man, it's going to be a heavier burden on you. Being a leader is already a heavy burden, right? Proper time management lightens that load. Oh, it does. It does. Trust me, it does. Proper time management lightens the load. And as I'm thinking about that word proper, I learned, I think it's called an alliteration, where it's like all the letters are the same in a phrase. Anyway, it goes like this. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. All right, say that with me. Get this burned into your memory. It's called the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Can you say it fast? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Let's see if you can say it fast. It doesn't matter. Listen. Get the idea, get the principle. If you prepare properly, like we saw with Proverbs 21, verse 5. Those plans are going to lead to prosperity. Okay? Mismanaged time is going to lead to poverty. All right? You don't want a poverty program. You want a prosperity program. Okay? You want a prosperous program. All right? All of that comes with the proper management of time. Let's see if you can say the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Let's keep it going. Let's look at a tentative schedule. Okay? Now, again, you don't have to follow the schedule to the T. Come up with a schedule that works best for you. The idea is have a schedule and stick to it. This is a tentative schedule that I've used in the programs that I've led, and I've seen success with it. Again, adjust it to your needs, but whatever you do, stick to the schedule. So a typical canvassing day would start out like this. We wake up 7:15. Now, it's a struggle to get students out of bed in the morning. It's a struggle, all right? Doesn't matter if it's a summer or winter program, it can be hard. What you can do is you wake them up at 7. Official wake up time is 7:15, but you know it's going to take them 15 minutes to get up and out. Some of them, right? There are some that are they're up early, but sometimes you have a group of kids that just love to sleep. Get them up at 7 so that they can have a 15-minute buffer so that by 7:15, y'all need to be out of the bed. You understand? Boom. Start off the day at 7:15. Give them an hour, 45 minutes to get ready for the day, right? In this time, I highly advise to promote personal devotions. The success of your program is your connection with Jesus Christ. The students that are going out there sharing the gospel, they've got to have the gospel inside of them. Every morning, give them that time for morning devotions, personal, quiet time with God. Also in this time, you have a breakfast team, of course, that's getting breakfast ready and everything like that. So that come 9 a.m., this is when engines are roaring. This is when the show begins. From breakfast to the end of the day, it's go time, right? You want to have breakfast done on time. Have it ready at 9. Have it there so that the students can come to breakfast, dressed, ready to roll, and they're off to the races. 9:35, they're already starting to clean up. Wonderful. 10:15, this is when everybody gathers for worship. All right, do your announcements, however you want to do it. Worship thought, singing, all that good stuff, testimonies, excellent. That's your worship time. 11 a.m., start training. And of course, after training, you're ready to hit the field. Now, in the beginning of the program, we're talking about the first week or 2, maybe 3 weeks. Training is going to last a little bit longer because you're most likely going to have students who have never canvassed before. And so I don't recommend just getting them out there canvassing without the proper training. Training is key. And we're going to do another entirely separate video on how to train your students to produce, how to train your students to be efficient canvassers and not time wasters. But that's another video. We'll do that in another installment of Lion Mode Leadership. Okay, so like I said, training is going to be a little bit longer in the beginning. And then towards the middle and the end of the program, training is going to be shorter naturally so that you can have more time in the field. So leaving, where it says field time, leaving home base at 12 noon, that can work again towards the beginning and middle of the program. The goal really is to leave as soon as you can after 11 a.m. That's a goal that I've used and it's helped a lot. When your students get the concept of canvassing, like they're good to go, your students are well trained, you don't have to spend an hour in training. You don't. You can spend 5-10 minutes on maybe one little thing, just to tweak, and then you're ready to go, okay? I like to have lunch around 3:30, 4 o'clock. Again, this is gonna vary depending on, your conference. Don't think that you have to do it this way. I've been in programs where, listen, I had canvassers who were soldiers, okay? They were go-getters. They were like, lunch? Lunch? What's lunch? We got a goal to reach, you know what I'm saying? I've had teams like that. They're like, nah, let's keep it going till 5, 6, and then we'll eat. We'll have a nice short and sweet evening shift, and then we'll go home. And they would do excellent. I'm talking about beast mode. You understand? Not every summer you're going to have a team like that, right? Where your students are like, let's go. Hey, if you got that, you don't have to go to lunch at 3:30. You don't have to go to lunch at 4. Do what works. But here's the point. Have an established lunchtime. Have a time for lunch, right? And when you get to lunch, spend 30 minutes, 45. You know what I'm saying? You may have a team that's like high producers, but they also like to rest. Hey, give them their rest. Give them that rest. You may spend an hour in lunch. I typically don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't, because that's a lot of time. But do what works best. Do what works best for you, right? But stick to the time. Pick up around 8:30. Again, this is something that's going to depend on your distance from the church. This is just a general principle, right? Have a set time for pickup. Boom. Pick up, head back to the church. Evening routine. In the programs I've run in Georgia Cumberland, because I've led in different conferences, in Georgia Cumberland, I like getting back at 9, getting back to the church at 9 so that the students can have a whole hour to shower. They can have that time to eat, right? Students, they come back from a long day of canvassing, they're hungry. Hey, let them eat, right? They have time to talk to their parents. They have time to talk to their friends. They have time to wind down, right? And then 10 o'clock, have a devotional thought, okay? Just get them together, get their minds gathered. Not everybody has the best day canvassing. And so this is a great time for bonding with your team. And this is short though. This is not, a whole all night long prayer session, because they got to canvass the next day, okay? This is a short thought, 10 minutes. Sing a song, share a testimony, share a thought, something short and sweet. And then by 10:30, 10:15, 10:30, they're in bed. All right, they need their rest. Now, leaders, of course, we're not going to get the most sleep, and that's okay. That's expected. But the students, they definitely need to be sleeping. All right, all of that whole day, that's a typical canvassing day, Monday to Friday, right? Maybe not Friday, Sunday to Thursday. Some programs canvass on Friday, so of course the schedule is going to look a little bit different because of the Sabbath. But there you have a rundown of what a typical canvassing day will look like. What I want you to take away from this is that you've got to have your time mapped out, you've got to have a schedule, and you've got to stick to the schedule. The more you stick to the schedule, trust me on this, it allows you to maximize your canvassing time, and that's where you're going to see the best results. It's being on the field. When you are late for breakfast and you push breakfast back, you know what else you push back? You push everything back. You push cleanup back. You push worship back. You push training back. You push leaving for the field back, and you've got less time in the field. Less time in the field. You want to maximize that, your time in the field, because that's where the books go out. That's when the gospel is spread, okay? That's when students earn donations so that they can go to school, right? It's not happening at home base, okay? You want to maximize your time on the field. All right, now this is for a typical canvassing day, the 5 days out of the week. This is what you're seeing now. This is a typical off day, right? A typical off day, and how you want to structure your rest day, right? So that way you can be on top of your time. Again, in the programs I've led, on the off day, I had wake up at 10 a.m., breakfast same time. Breakfast is optional on the off day. You don't have to have breakfast if you don't want it, right? Of course, after breakfast, everybody cleans up. If you got something, clean it up, whatever. 11 a.m., we have our team meeting. That's where everybody gets together and the leaders announce what the plan is for the day. The activity, all that, have a team meeting, 11 a.m. 11:15, we're out the door for laundry. If you have the luxury of having a washer and dryer at your location, man, that's a blessing. Not only do you save money, you save time, because you can do laundry during the week, okay? That's a blessing. But most churches I've been to don't have washer and dryer on site. And so you have to go to laundry, right? Man, this could be a major time killer. Going to the laundry. It should only take an hour. Half an hour to wash, half an hour to dry. I've seen programs take up to 2 hours or more at the laundromat, just chilling. Like, no, we got stuff to do, okay? You gotta stay on top of your time. Going around making sure your students are actually washing their clothes. How many times does it happen where they put their clothes in, but they forget to push wash? Or they put it in the dryer and they forget to put their coins in and actually get the machine going. It's happened too many times, right? You gotta stay on top of these things. After that, Walmart. From Walmart, you got your group activity. And of course, whatever your group activity is, hey, have a great time. Okay, just keep in mind, keep lunch in mind. Of course, you don't want to keep them starving. Of course, you gotta have lunch. Now, when it comes to the off day, one big thing that's important to remember is don't have so much fun that you're worn out and aren't ready to canvas the next day. Okay, I've been a part of some activities where students either get injured, which is not good, or they're just so beat that it's hard for them to wake up and canvas the next day. So just keep that in mind. All right. Anyway, this is a typical off day schedule, something you can use for your program. Now, I like to compare a canvassing day to a flight, an airline flight, where you've got three major points in the flight, right? You have pre-takeoff, right? You have airtime, and then you have landing, okay? You want to master these three parts of the day. And if you could do that, you've taken off so much weight off your shoulders as far as stress is concerned, because being a canvassing leader is a very stressful position. But if you can learn to manage your time wisely, a lot of that stress can be reduced significantly, okay? So if you're looking at the chart there, you've got home base in the morning. This is when the engines are getting warmed up, right? It starts with actually waking the students up, okay? Wake them up, get them up, and that on time so that your breakfast crew can be starting breakfast. Everybody else can be getting ready for the day, right? Getting their morning devotions in, getting prepared, so that at 9 a.m., they are ready to eat and get the day going, okay? By the time you hit worship and training, that plane is ascending, okay? Breakfast is having a good, appealing, delicious, bountiful, nutritious, and delicious breakfast. That's getting the engines warmed up, you understand? Now you're on the runway getting ready to take off. Worship, have a powerful worship. Now don't make worship a prophecy seminar. Now I've seen programs and I've heard of programs where you have the leader giving a full-blown prophecy seminar to the students. Listen, we don't got time for all that, okay? And it's funny because it actually happened. Worship is the time to sing spiritful songs, like, you know what I'm saying? Warm up, like good spirited songs, right? Share testimonies. Share a message that's related to canvassing, short and sweet. I'm not talking about 5 minutes, okay? But, share a give a good worship. It doesn't have to be an hour long. Come on now. All right. Now you're getting ready for takeoff. By the time you're done worship and training, students are pumped, students are ready to go. This is the time they need to hop in the van and you're off to territory, right? I've seen it where you have a powerful worship, powerful training, and then for some reason the leaders give students like another half an hour to just get ready and just relax and then go out to campus. No, you want to take advantage of the momentum. Once you get the engines roaring, once that plane is on the runway, it's go, go, go. There's no stopping. It's no stopping. That plane is going, all right? Getting ready for takeoff. That's how you want to approach your canvassing day. After worship and training, get out and go, right? Boom. Now, of course, you're looking at the chart. You're seeing the plane. You see there's storms. All sorts of things can happen in the field. And so, hey, you want to be able to navigate that. Sometimes you have to fly above the storm, whatever. Make it happen. We're going to talk about, territory leadership probably in another video because this one is more so about time. Boom, you got your airtime. All right, you're managing that. Great. Now when it's time for pickup, right? Let's say you want to be back at 9. You've got to calculate, number one, how long is it going to take me to pick up all of my students? Based on the location of where all 6 of them are, 5 of them, 4, doesn't matter how many students you have on your team, you've got to calculate that. Don't think that you can start pickup at 9 o'clock. Come on now. This is basic. But I have to say this because, man, there's a lot. Man, I've heard too many horror stories. And I'm sure you have too, okay? Horror stories. Students out there at 11 o'clock. Come on now. We don't got time for that. All right, no. You've got to calculate, okay, if I have these students at these different locations, how long is it going to take me to get to each student, get them all in the van, and then how long is it going to take me from that location, from where my last student is, back to the church? Calculate that, and then boom, you've got everybody in the van and heading back, smooth sailing. Man, that drive back home after a successful canvassing day, it's so good. You know what I'm saying? You got music playing, you got your students counting their money. Good times. I have so many good memories of that ride back home. All right. Awesome. Once you're back home, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. You're landing, but you got to have a smooth landing. You can't have the plane coming down and just smash into the ground. Okay. Once you get back, make sure that one, their money is turned in, right? Because you got to be on them. Sometimes they don't count their money in the van. I like to have them count their money in the van so that by the time they get home, they're good to go. Now, of course, if you're 5-10 minutes away from the church, then it's all good, all right? But once you get back to home base, make sure they're counting the money. They get their money turned in at a good time. They can shower, right? They can eat, have enough time to do all that. So when it's bedtime, it's bedtime. Okay? You don't want to be so mission focused, so gung ho that you spend too much time in territory that by the time you get back home, because you want to be a stickler and it's like, oh, lights out is at this time, bedtime is at this time, that students don't have time to eat. Students don't have time to shower. That's disgusting. Okay? Again, I've heard too many stories of programs, right? I'm not going to mention a conference. We don't need to go there. Not going to go there, okay? Where they get back and there's not enough time to eat and shower. There's not enough time to rest and relax. There's not enough time to wind down. Again, we're talking about time here. The time management is the focus of this video. When you get back at 10 o'clock and you try to rush your kids to bed at 10:30, it's like, whoa. That's a sure way for burnout. That's how students start to hate canvassing. That's how people are like, you know what, I don't want to do this. I can't. Okay? But when they have enough time, right? When that evening land at home base is smooth landing, where they have time to enjoy themselves at the end of the day, to relax. That leaves a good feeling. They go to bed in peace, they can wake up energized and hit the ground running again. Canvassing is a marathon. You got 10 long weeks to keep your students energized and keep yourself energized, right? Time management is going to help you. Lack of time management is going to lead to stress and burnout. Okay, I understand canvassing is not easy. Again, I've been doing it for quite some time and I've been leading as well. And man, when you let loose of time and you don't have a grip, man, it could just feel like, it's the worst. Okay, the worst ever. All right, leadership responsibilities. All right, what are some of the things you want to be focusing on in the morning, in the evening, or while you're in the field, and in the evening? Some things to keep in mind. All right, in the morning, whether you're head leader or not, doesn't matter. If you're a leader in the morning, you have got to have morning devotions. That is the secret to success. That's the secret to success. Your connection with God. Because if Jesus talks about the blind leading the blind, that's a problem because they both fall into the ditch, right? As leader, you don't just want to be the manager of the program. You want to be the Moses, right? You want to be that Elijah, that spiritual leader of your program. And it starts with spending time with God. You don't want to get so caught up with, man, I got to count the money. Man, I got to make sure breakfast is ready. Oh, man, I got to make sure this and that and the other. And you get so busy that you forget about Jesus. Come on now. Come on now. You don't want to be so caught up with the work that you forget the Lord of the work. Spend time with Jesus in the morning. Okay. Now, speaking about time, it's better to do it before the students wake up. Why is that? Okay, if this is your first time leading, this may be news to you. But if you've been leading before and you're here to get to the next level, you know that as soon as students wake up, it's like, I don't know how, as soon as they wake up, it's like they got a million questions on their mind. And they got to ask you, Mobile One, can I have breakfast early? What? Mobile One, where's the boxes of books? Like, where do I need to stock my Mobile One, can I get into the van? I left my headphones in there last night. Mobile One, it's like, bro, as soon as they get up. So you don't want to be planning to have your morning devotions at that time because you're over here trying to read Exodus. You're over here trying to get your worship ready. You're over here trying to connect with God. And you have students bothering you with questions. You got students just with questions, right? Time management. Do your morning devotion before they wake up. And you're saying, but what about sleep? Listen, forget sleep. All right. This is one thing that I talk about in the leadership series I did on the podcast. Is you sleep is not a priority. Let's just be honest. For a successful canvassing leader to reach success, you're not going to be getting 8-9 hours of sleep. That's for the students. All right. They need all that energy. You've got to be able to manage your time better. All right. Got to have morning devotion. And I recommend that you have it before the students get up. Just a recommendation, right? So that you're not interrupted. You're not constantly interrupted. So that when the students wake up, you're already up. You already spent your time with Jesus. You are glowing like Moses when he came off the mountain. Come on now. They wake up and they see the leader already. Okay? All right. Now, that's number one. That's important. After that, I recommend having your leadership meeting in the morning. Now, some programs, they decide to have the leadership meeting at night. It's all right. Hey, do what works best for you. For the years I've been leading, I've always had them in the morning. And the leadership meeting is crucial for the success of your program. Every day, have your meeting. Know what's going on in the program. Set your plans, set your activities and all that and goals and everything right there in the leadership meeting. Okay? Bank run, that's recommended. I don't recommend you having thousands upon thousands of dollars just sitting in the church, just sitting there, you know what I'm saying, in your book bag or wherever leaders hide the money. Okay, I recommend just getting that money off your hands. Make a bank run. Okay, we don't want any mystery cases of, oh hey, where'd that $1,000 go? Where'd that $5K go? Make the bank deposits. Okay, do it in the morning. Sometimes you'll have a bank in territory and you can do it then. Hey, that works. But hey, I recommend doing it in the morning, but do what works best for you. Check the vans. We're talking about time management. If you don't check the vans, you can end up wasting time because, man, as annoying as it is, flat tires happen. As annoying as it is, a student can leave the van door open. You come the next morning to start your van and it's actually not starting because the battery's drained, right? Time management. These things affect your time, right? So in the morning, I recommend check your vans. Are your vans ready to go? Man, I can't imagine you have a powerful worship, powerful training, and the students are on fire. They're like, set me out to canvas. I'm ready to save the world. Imagine they got all that energy ready to go. You turn your van on and you don't have enough gas to get to territory. Man, that's a time killer. Making sure your van has enough gas, that saves time. And they're little things. It's the little things that make a big difference when it comes to successful time management. We're talking about lion mode leadership. We're talking about running a tight ship. We're talking about how to get to the next level. These little things, when you tighten these screws, you will see how canvassing can become so much fun and a joy and a blessing when you manage your time wisely. All right. Now in the field, right? All right. The plane is taking off. You are now in the air. Okay. In the field. Time. Check to see the route that you're planning to take to territory. Make sure there's no accidents because that could be a major time killer as well. Make sure you're getting to territory the quickest way possible. All right. I didn't put that on the slide, on the slide, whatever. But these are things that are just coming to mind as I'm sharing with you how to manage your time wisely. Okay. Pray for students. Pray for your students. After your students are dropped off, don't get so caught up in, oh, got to drop off books. Oh, this one's already ready for pickup. Oh, this one needs to be moved. When your students, as soon as you drop off your last student, this is something I've implemented in my leadership. I take time, just a few moments, a few minutes, to call out on God and pray for my students by name. Pray for them individually. Don't just pray in general. Okay, Lord, bless all the students. No. Pray for Ashley. Pray for Jabari. Pray for Kelsey. Pray for your students by name. Pray for them. Pray for them. All right? This is going to help them. The Lord does a work. Listen, canvassing has taught me there is no success without God. This is not a secular work. This is mission work. We need God. There was a quote. I don't remember who said it, but he was like, I don't remember who said it. Maybe you'll know. Type it in the comments if you know who said this quote. He was like, the busier I get, the more I pray. right? Because, oh man, I forgot how it goes, but it's like spending time in prayer is not time wasted. Actually, spending time in prayer is what helps him manage his time better. Spending time in prayer is what helps him get all the things he has to get done. And by not praying is what makes it worse. I got to look for that. I got to look for it. Okay. Work with your students. If you put in that work early, when I talk about early, I'm talking about in the program. When you work with your students early in the program and they can learn quicker how to canvas, how to deal with rejection, how to meet objections, when they see it from their leader, that saves time later on down the road because they've been well trained. Spend the time, work with your students. All right, that's important for success. Last one, there it says, prepare for the next day. What I like to do the last 2 hours of the canvassing day, don't wait till the next day to start planning drop-offs, to start planning who you're going to need on your team, to start planning all of these things. You can save so much time by students are dropped off after lunch. They're doing their evening shift. You've got about 2 hours before you got to start picking up. Take a moment and think about what's your business shift going to look like? Where are you going to start your drop off? Where are you going to end the drop off? Who are you going to drop off, right? Start planning these things the day before so that when you get back to home base, you have time to enjoy yourself, right? After all your responsibilities are done, you don't have to be constantly thinking about, all right, got to prepare drop offs. All right, got to do that while you're in the field. That's a time saver, major time saver, okay? Do that 2 hours in general. Doesn't matter how long before, but just do it before you get back to the church, okay? Make time to prepare for the next day. And you do that the day before. All right, awesome. That's field time. Let's look at the evening routine, okay? How to manage your time wisely. All right, all the vans are back from territory. What now? Hey, get the money counted. Right there, we're counting money. So much time is wasted because you don't get on it right away, right? And then you have students that count their money wrong, and then you got to be chasing them down. Hey, where's a credit card receipt for this one? Hey, it says that you made 250, but I only counted 230. Oh, I forgot about a Venmo. I forgot to, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you got to have a system in place to count the money and to get it done right, get it done quick, so that you're not up at 2 a.m. counting money. This is ridiculous. Now, I really enjoyed counting the money, so I had a good time with it, right? And I developed a system where I could count it fast, count it accurately, but I wasn't alone. It wasn't just me. I had help. We're going to talk about that a little bit later when we talk about delegation. But when you get back, get your money counted. Now, there are some programs I heard where they don't even count the money at night. They count it the next day. They count it in the morning. That's like a chore for the morning. If that works for you, hey, go ahead and do it that way. For me, I want to know how much money we make today. Okay, I want to know how we did today. Okay, so that's how I do it. Students, oftentimes, some students, they forget how to count. I don't want to wait till the next day to figure out, figure out, hey, the money isn't right. Oh man, I forgot what happened yesterday. No. As soon as you figure out an error, go to the student, get it fixed right away. All right, boom. Anyway, get your money counted. Evening routine. You're back at the church. Prepare the kids for bed. Man, when students get back, it's like this is funny. They're tired in the field. Oh, I'm tired, moving slow. If where you're staying has a gym, like oftentimes we stay in, schools have a gym or whatever, they get back to the gym and all of a sudden they get an energy burst out of nowhere and they're running up and down playing basketball. I'm like, where'd you get this energy from? You was tired in the field. Anyway, that's me going on a rant. Get your kids ready for bed because they will stay up as late as possible. You got to stay on top of them. Otherwise, they're not going to be showering. They're not going to be brushing their teeth, using the bathroom, getting water, doing what they need to do, unless somebody's on top of them. All right? We're talking about time management. You got to be on top of them so that you can stick to your schedule. Got to stick to the schedule. Because if they go to bed late, guess what happens the next morning? It's going to be hard to get up. All right? All of these components are crucial to the successful taking off of the plane, airtime of the plane, landing of the plane, right? All of these are important pieces, components of a successful canvassing program. Time management. Again, time management. Quality time with kids. This is important because in that time of getting back home, right, and them actually going to bed, you don't want to be so caught up with your responsibilities that you don't have time to spend with the students. Now, hopefully you're not a one-man show. Hopefully you're not the only leader. There should be at least one other, depending on how many students you have, how many vans you have. There should be a leader delegated to spending quality time with the students. This is where bonding happens. This is where friendships are formed. This is where students are kind of making up their mind. I really like this. I want to come back again next year, right? Spend time with them. Now, of course, every leader's not going to be able to do that. I remember when I was coming up as a junior leader, that was my responsibility, to make sure the kids got to bed on time, to do the devotion with them, and just to kind of be with them, just supervising, be with them while the other leader was counting money. I enjoyed that. I loved that because I got to spend time with the students and bond with them. Talk about their day. How was your day? How'd it go? Some students had a great day, powerful day, highest day, and they want to talk about their success. Listen to them. Other students didn't have the best day, right? They need comfort. They need encouragement, right? They need counsel. They need training. So take time to train. Some students, when they get back, all right, what can I do better? How can I get to the next level? You know what I'm saying? Hey, take advantage of that. Spend that time with them. Okay, while the other leader is counting the money, doing those responsibilities. As I moved up in leadership and I got different responsibilities, when it was my turn to count the money, I was like, I would hear, the students laughing with the other leader and just telling stories, having a good time. It's like, oh man, I remember those days, and oh man, it was good times. But delegate the responsibilities so that everything that needs to get done gets done. All right, make sure it gets done. Spend quality time with the kids. And then here's the last one I want to talk about for leadership responsibilities. Personal prayer time. This, man, if there's anything you remember from this whole video, remember this. You got to spend time with God. And I'm not just talking about in the morning. I'm talking about in the evening, after everything is said and done. If there's one thing that led to my success as a canvassing leader, I am 100% sure it is the time I spent with God in the evening. The time I spent with God after the students are gone to bed, after the money is counted, after all the books are organized, after all that, when it's just dead quiet. Yes, it's going to be after midnight. Again, forget about sleep. Spend quality time with God in prayer for your program. Pray for your leaders. Pray for your students. Pray for the city that you're canvassing. Pray for the church that you're staying in. Pray for yourself. Pray for yourself, okay? Pray. I remember the program, it was 2019. It was one of the best programs I led alongside Topher with Georgia Cumberland. I adopted this prayer habit early on, but this year I was claiming that particular year to be my best program. I was claiming it. And at night, I spent the entire summer sleeping in the van. Now, you don't have to go to those extremes. I'm just telling you what I did. And God blessed tremendously that summer. Tremendously. After everything was said and done, counting, all that, I would go outside to the van and I would, take my phone, get my apps, Bible apps, Spirit of Prophecy app, and I would spend time with God. I would read. I would pray. And I would notice by the time I was done, I didn't feel like going back inside the church. So I just was like, you know what? Let me just bring my pillow out here. Let me bring my blanket out here. I'm just going to sleep on the back seat of the van. I spent the entire summer on the back seat of the van sleeping every night. But I made sure to spend time with God in prayer. And you may think that I was all sluggish and whatnot in the morning. No, God refreshed me. I'm telling you, that personal prayer time in the evening, I want to challenge you to start doing that. And you don't have to spend all night in prayer. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about spending quality time with God in the evening. That's where you'll find your success. I'm telling you. All right, here we go. Let's keep it rolling. How to save time. Delegation. As a leader, you're not going to be able to do everything. All right, you remember in the Bible where Moses recently come out of Egypt? Moses was going crazy. You got 2-point-something million people they all got questions. They all got disputes. They all got different, you know what I'm saying? This family's mad at that family. Oh, you ran over my cow and now my cow can't walk. And oh, you killed my goat and now I need a goat for me. Man, there was a lot of stuff going on. You imagine 2.2 million people? That's a lot going on. And Moses was the leader of all of them. He was going crazy. You know what happened. His father-in-law, Jethro, told him, hey, I need you to set up like 70 leaders, elders. That's going to help you. As a leader in your canvassing program, you've got to delegate responsibilities. You can't do everything. And if you try, you're going to die. You're going to kill yourself. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. Delegate. Let's talk about how to save time. With food shopping, here's a tip that's going to help you save time. Make the menu before you get to Walmart, before you get to Myers. I think they got Myers out in Michigan. Make the menu before you get to Kroger, before you get to Costco, before wherever you do your food shopping. Make the menu ahead of time. You'll be surprised. You got people in the store making the menu for the week. Oh yeah, we need to get this seasoning. Okay, yeah, now we need to get potatoes. Okay, now we didn't get bananas. Okay, now we need to get straw. Hey, make the list. That's going to help you save time. As a leader, maybe take a student with you. So it's not just you pushing one cart, trying to get all the food you need for 12 students, 18 students, 24 students, 30 plus students. Hey, man, I've been in programs with these big 4-van programs. Doesn't matter the size of your program. Get help. Of course, now, if it's just one van, I mean, come on, you got that. You can do that easy, right? But assign somebody, a student, to help you shop. All right. Breakfast prep and cleanup, man. This is so important because, like I said, once breakfast time is good and you're set on breakfast, the rest of the day flows easier when breakfast is on time. Right? When breakfast is late, it's the opposite. Make sure you have enough people for breakfast prep. Now, some meals are easier to prepare than others. So make sure your breakfast prep team knows what are they making that day, how long it's going to take, so that it can be ready on time. Breakfast cleanup. You'll be surprised how often the schedule gets pushed back because the dishes aren't clean. How the schedule gets pushed back because the floor is dirty, because the tables haven't been wiped down. And if you've worked in Georgia Cumberland as a leader, you already know the 10 commandments, Tim's 10 commandments of canvassing. Okay? You already know what they are. The first one, thou shalt keep the church clean. The fifth one, thou shalt keep the church clean. The 10th one, thou shalt keep the church clean. You already know. And every other commandment is the exact same. Keep the church clean. Cleanup is important. Cleanup is important, right? If you don't want this to take up all of your time, make sure you have enough students delegated to kitchen cleanup so that it can get done in a timely manner. Okay, you don't want to be wasting time cleaning up. Make sure cleanup happens. I'm not saying, oh, well, in order to save time, we'll let the dishes soak throughout the day and we'll clean them up when we get back. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Make sure you have enough people to get the job done. All right. We're talking about how to save time. Okay. Stocking the van and radios. This can take a lot of time. Now, radios, I know we're starting to kind of phase out of radios as more applications become available where we don't need radios anymore. We're currently still using them, but I don't see them being used long term in the future. Technology, we don't need them, right? But we always gonna have to stock the van, okay? And this can take too much time if a system is not set in place. So in the beginning, we're talking about saving time. Train your stocker on what the back of the van should look like. Train them, let them know. Look, take a picture even, send it to them so that every morning they can look at the picture. This is what the back of the van should look like, okay? And then show them how to do it in a timely manner, all right? I've led programs where I like to stock the back. I just like to see what's going on in the back of the van. Students come back at the end of the day. I would tell my students, hey, before you go inside the church, get the books you need out the back of the van now. Just go ahead and stock your bag now so you don't have to do it in the morning. You can do it right now. When I go to the back and I see what's there, I would just go and fill it up. I would go and fill it up right there. Boom, done. That's going to save you time. Train your stockers on how to get the van stocked properly. Because talk about a time killer. All right, talk about a time killer where you've got a powerful worship. You had powerful training and students are on fire. They're ready to go. You get to the back of the van, students are in the van ready to go, and you realize the van isn't stocked. Oh my word. Now you got to spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes running back and forth to fill up the van. Or it's not stocked the way it's supposed to be. Or there's not the right amount of books in there. Talk about time killer. That's a time killer. You're wasting time. because that 10 minutes could have been spent getting to territory. And you already know about divine appointments where you got to be at the right spot at the right time. These little things are what's going to help you manage your time better. Having your van stocked the right way on time. Train your students. Help them. Like I said before, take a picture, show them how it's done, and make sure they get it done. Make sure they get it done. Make sure you do that before it's time to go. Time. Talking about time. Talk about time. Okay, here we go. Activities. We're talking about how to save time. Every week, right? You got a 10-week program. There should be an activity every week, right? Something fun, something like an outing, right? Something to do. There are going to be weeks where they're just so tired, they just want to stay back and sleep. Hey, amen. Let them do that. But on the days where you go out and do activities, you don't want to plan the activity the day before the actual activity or the day of. Why? There are some restaurants that are not open on Sundays. There are some places that are closed on Sundays. There are some places that require a fee, some places that require a waiver, permission forms. Like, there's so many different variables. You can save time by planning these things ahead, right? And I'm talking about you could plan them before the summer starts. You can plan them a week or two before so that the day of the activity, right? If your off day is Friday or your off day is Sunday, you already know what you need to do, right? You already know how far the place is. There are some activities that are a little bit farther, like you want to go to a waterfall, you want to go to a certain park, right? Plan these things ahead of time. Have a leader delegate it. Somebody delegate it. That's your responsibility. Your responsibility is throughout the week to be getting this activity ready. Because a lack of preparation, listen, remember the 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I've witnessed some activities get completely canceled because on the day of, they realize, oh, this place is not open today. Oh, this place is actually all booked up because you actually had to make a reservation to do this activity. Oh, so now you got to hurry and scurry. Remember what we read about in Proverbs 21 verse 5? Now you got to hurry and scurry to find another activity and you're wasting time. Activities. Listen. You know, I might make a new one. Proper preparation prepares for prosperity. Come on now. When you prepare right, you get to enjoy the benefits of that preparation. Activities, right? These things require preparation, all right? So you want to be thinking about these things. You want to be planning all of the details before it happens, okay? Worship and training. You don't want to be giving your students fly-by-night worships. You don't want to be giving them McDonald's Happy Meal type, Ronald McDonald, Mickey Mouse worships. Listen, we're talking about lion mode leadership. You want to give your students meat. You want to give your students energy. You want to give your students inspiration, motivation. And you're not going to get that with the 5-minute preparation. Oh, let me just open up my Bible and let me just read the story of David and Goliath. Oh, let me just read the story of when Jesus walked on water. And that, no, it takes time to prepare a powerful worship because you want to weave into that worship personal experience, personal struggle, Bible verses, lessons from history, lessons from sports, lessons from current events. Like you want to take time and prepare quality worships. Don't think that you can just open up a devotional book and just say, oh, let me just read this. I found this. Let me just read this. And then hope the students are inspired. Absolutely not. Not if you want to be a lion mode leader. You want to be a lion mode leader. You want to prepare your worship ahead of time. It takes time. But if you do it properly, again, proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you prepare your worship ahead of time, when it's time for worship, you can approach the students in confidence, knowing, listen, I got a word from God today. Listen. Are y'all ready for this? I got a word from the Lord. I was spending time in devotion. The Lord spoke this word to me. Open up your Bibles to the book of Exodus chapter 14. Open up your Bibles to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9. Open up your Bibles to Matthew chapter 4. Preparation. Get your worships prepared. Now, this is something you can do before the summer starts. This is something you can do ahead of time. Don't get so caught up in the many daily and weekly activities that you fail to prepare powerful worships. I'm telling you, powerful worships lead to transformation. The students' eyes are open to, wow, I didn't know Bible study could be so fun. Wow, I didn't know God could speak to me this way. Wow, I didn't know I can get so much energy from a good word to canvas. You see what I'm saying? Got to prepare. Training. Training is also, you want to be intentional about training. Okay, hold on. Before I talk about training, let me reel it back and talk about these worships. Yes, you want to give them meat. Yes, you want to give them motivation and inspiration. Again, you don't got to spend an hour and a half drilling the students. God's going to help you. The Lord's going to bless you. The Lord's going to help you canvas. The Lord's going to give you that bakery. You don't need to do that for an hour and a half. Okay? You don't got to do that for an hour and a half. All right. Give them enough. Give them 15 minutes. Give them 20 minutes. Give them half an hour. Okay. All right. All right. I get it. God is with me. I get it. I will defeat my enemies. I get it. I get it. Let's go. Let's canvas now. You see what I'm saying? So again, with the time management, yes, powerful, but you don't need to give them 2-3 hours of worship. All right? All right? All right, cool. Now let's come back to training. Training, you also, like I said before, you want to be intentional with training, giving them what they need, prepare the training, right? We'll probably do another whole separate video on how to train, right? But you want to talk about saving time? Prepare the training ahead of time. Delegate a leader. Hey, in your leadership meetings, like we talked about earlier, this week, I want you to do training. Or maybe not this week, but maybe this day, I want you to be in charge of training. Let that person know ahead of time so they also can prepare. Hey, tomorrow, on Tuesday, on Thursday, I want you to be in charge of training. Get ready. Get your training prepared. Get your notes prepared. Get your examples prepared. Get your illustrations prepared. Get ready to train. And depending on the level of experience, man, there's nothing that annoys an experienced canvasser more than too long of a training. Canvassers that know what they're doing, they're like, yo, let's go canvas. Let's get out into the field. Let's work. Let's grind. Let's get out there. You couldn't annoy them more with a too long training, right? They are experienced. When you've got experience, when your team is experienced, cut the training down. Talk about saving time. And you would think that some of this would be obvious, but man, there's been some grave mistakes in this particular area, right? When your students are green, when the students are fresh, when your students are like non-experienced, right? They don't have enough experience. Of course, make your training longer so that they get it. They get comfortable canvassing, right? But after they get the hang of it, cut that training down. Maximize your time. Maximize your time. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. All right, here we go. Counting the money. Again, we kind of talked about that earlier on systems on how you're going to be able to get that done properly. When you get back from the church, get on it. Get on it. You don't have time to get back and now you want to have a party. Woo, woo, woo. Let's have a good time. We had a good day. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, great. But you got to count the money still. You still got to count the money, right? Get on it. Get on it. Have a student help you. That particular student, tell them, hey, go ahead and get your little snack and bring it to the counting table. We're going to count and eat at the same time. All right, but we got to get this money counted, right? Have that assistance, right? Get on it. All right, boom. Wonderful. Daily meetings, okay? We're talking about time management for your program. If you want to have a successful program, you got to manage your time wisely. What's going to help you manage your time wisely is like what I talked about earlier, having the daily leadership meetings. Whether you have it in the morning or at night, do what works best for you. Have the meeting. All right, for me, I like to have them 30 minutes before breakfast because that helps us end the meeting, right? You don't want to have a meeting with no definite end time because then you can have a meeting for an hour when you really only needed 30 minutes. Remember that quote we looked at earlier from Christ Object Lessons where it talked about you have people who get, like some people are working for 10 hours and then you have those people who get the same amount of work done in 5, right? Why is that? It's because they have specific goals. They have specific things on the agenda that they want to talk about. They get it talked about, they discuss it, they debate it, they tackle it, boom, let's move on. You understand what I'm saying? Have the daily meetings. What do you want to be talking about in your daily meetings? 1, assess the previous day. How did the day go? How did yesterday go? right? Where did we mess up? Because nobody's expecting perfection on week 1. No, it's too early. Nobody's expecting perfection on week 2. It's too early. Week 3? Week 3 should be like the tightening up. Week 4? Oh, we getting into rhythm now. Oh, we in rhythm. We in stride week 4. Week 5? Come on now. Come on now. Week 5 all the way to the end? You got to have a tight ship. You got to have a tight ship. And if you're having daily meetings, figuring out, you know what, breakfast took way too long. Maybe that meal, maybe we should adjust the meal to make it simpler so it doesn't take so long, right? Man, showers took way too long. Like 3 people showered and then everybody else was playing games and nobody else was getting in the shower. Maybe we should have somebody in charge of making sure everybody's going through the shower. Somebody's at the shower, all right, next. Somebody's at the shower, next. You know what I'm saying? Assess what's going wrong, right? Where time is slipping away. Because you'll be surprised. 10 minutes here or there can account for thousands of dollars at the end of the program. You waste 10 to 15 minutes a day. And that 10 to 15 minutes multiplied by 6 students who could be talking to 6 different people. At the end of the day, at the end of your program, you could have lost thousands of dollars just because you were wasting 10 to 15 minutes a day. 10 to 15 minutes that they could have been out canvassing. Time is money. Ben Franklin said it best. Time is money. Time is money. And I don't want you to get caught up in, oh, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Okay. It's not about the money. It's about the gospel. 10 to 15 minutes. That's 10 to 15 minutes. You could have been talking to somebody about the gospel of Jesus Christ. Right? You gotta be on top of your time. All right. So assess the previous day. Discuss ways to improve. Make solid plans. We talked about this when we built the biblical foundation. Go back to those verses. Look at those. Study those. Proverbs 21 verse 5. Look at those. Make solid plans. Discuss the things that could possibly go wrong. Okay, hey, what's the activity for this week? Okay, hey, well, we plan to go to, this water park. We plan to go on a hike to this place. Okay, are there any costs associated, like parking fees? Is the place open? Do you have to make a reservation? Make solid plans. Make good plans. All of these things is happening in the leadership meeting, in the daily meetings, right? And that last one, keep God at the center. Every time I would have a leadership meeting on my years of leading programs, I would always start out the leadership meeting with just a quick devotion on God. I'm talking about 2 or 3 minutes, nothing major, nothing deep, right? But just to keep God at the center, a Bible verse, right? Just to start out the meeting with God. Keep God at the center. Because yes, there's so many things, there's so many moving parts in the canvassing program. It's easy to get like Martha. Martha was so busy. She was so busy. And Jesus was right there. And Jesus was only on earth for a limited time. Mary was like, listen, I know I got to sweep the floor. I know those onions got to get chopped, but Jesus is here. Can I sit at Jesus' feet? And Martha was like, yo, we got work to do. Mary, get over here. I need help serving the drinks. I need help washing the feet. I need help setting up the table. And Jesus was like, Martha, 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 calm down. Like, I know you're doing an important work, but Mary has found something more important than work. She's spending time with me. Learn a lesson. Learn that lesson. In all of your busyness in the canvassing summer, especially the 10-week program, it's so busy. Don't get so busy that you forget Jesus. I'm telling you, with Jesus in the vessel, you know how that go? You can smile at the storm. Amen. Absolutely. Praise God. Keep God at the center of your work, and he will make your burdens lighter. I want to close with this. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3. It says this: ask the Lord to bless your plans, and you will be successful in carrying them out. We've talked about time management. We've talked about making plans, careful planning, proper preparation prevents poor performance. All of that is so true. Ask God to bless your plans. Ask God to help you. Ask for God's help and mean it. That's from the Good News Translation. I like how it says in the English Revised Version. It says, turn to the Lord for help in everything you do, and you will be successful. We're talking about lion mode leadership. Lion mode leadership, how to lead like a lion and get results. You're not going to get the right results without Jesus. You're not going to get the right results without God. Turn to the Lord for help in everything that you do. Everything that you do. And you will be successful. Praise God. Praise God. Praise the Lord. All right. Hey, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thanks for tuning in. If you found any value in today's video, make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Of course, comment. What'd you like the most? What tip may have helped you out? Share the video with your fellow canvassing leaders. And of course, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done that already. Again, this channel is dedicated to putting out content that's designed to help you get to the next level, whether it's canvassing, whether it's leading on your spiritual growth journey to be an effective missionary for Jesus. So again, if that's something you're into, consider subscribing and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to know when a video comes out. We also have a podcast. My co-host, Sam, we're on season 5. And if you want to tune into the podcast, you can do that too. The links are in the description below. And season 1 is all canvassing. Season 1 is all canvassing. As a matter of fact, in the description, you'll find a link to a PDF where you can get access to the whole series I did on becoming a better canvasser and the whole series I did on the 7 qualities of highly productive leaders. All of that information is in the description below. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. God bless you, and we'll see you at the next drop-off. Peace.